That big city woman, she made a big fool out of me. Down west, young man, California where you belong. Go west, young man, California, here I come. Back to the sea-swept country, you know that's where I belong. My sweetheart, I got down on my knees. Talk to my sweetheart, I got down on my knees. Ask the Lord for forgiveness, save this boy if you please. Blues at big time, I'm going back to my family. Blues at big town, I'm going back to my family. That big city woman, she made a big fool out of me. Horse, saddle up my black mare. Fetch my horse, saddle up my black mare. Oh, find my baby, she's out in this world somewhere. But he's a saddling horse, and it don't deny his name. Horse, you don't deny his name. Oh, where he traveled, so mister, it's a shame. Well, he got 4 stocking feet and a great long curly mane. 4 stocking feet, great long curly mane. Pretty little girl, she asked me, she said, T-Bone, what's his name? Fetch my horse, saddle up my black mare. Fetch my horse, saddle up my black mare. Oh, find my baby, she's out in this world somewhere. Thank you very much. A little bit of blues for you. So we talked about where that music came from, how it was changed with the 3 groups of people. Well, there was a long period of time, the Baroque period. How long do you think that lasted? There's a very, very ornamental stuff in art and music. It was 150 years long, starting in about 1600. After that came the classical period. They kind of reined in all that fancy stuff and made it a little more form and symmetry oriented. That lasted about 80 years. And then finally we got to the Romantic period. Because the reason I say finally is the first 2 periods, music was for the church and the rich, and that was it. It was not for the common man. At the end of the Romantic period, right around in the late 1800s, it started to be about the common man. And there was one event that really was the spark to the kind of the end of the Romantic period and the beginning of emotion and music and music about the common people. What was that spark? Very important thing that happened in the 1800s. Industrial Revolution, right? It gave people money, and it gave them money to buy instruments and to go and hear music. So that was really what started it all. And towards the end of the Romantic period, you had like a lot of marches. And a march, you know, you march with 2 feet, 1, 2, 1, 2, marches like this. Nothing with a lot of wiggle in it, you know. Then the ragtime period came in. That was about 1885. And ragtime, like I mentioned with the banjo, that syncopated beat, we call that, they called it ragged time. That's where the term ragtime comes from. It was on the upbeat. And doctors wrote in journals that you shouldn't listen to ragtime music because it would disturb you and cause heart attacks, and said it was pretty horrible stuff. Well, the guitar players at that time wanted to sound like a piano, and that's, as I mentioned, when the finger picking came in. So I'm going to play a tune that's by a guy named Willie Brown. It was recorded by Alan Lomax on Sadie Beck's plantation. We don't know where he came from, where he went, what happened to him. He just recorded this one song and disappeared. And it's a very Leroy Carr type feel to it, very piano-esque, very ragtime, called the Mississippi Blues. So bad, you know, it hurt my feet to walk. Got this blues so bad, hurt my feet to walk. And you know, it's been rambling around my brain. Oh, hurt my tongue to talk. Woman is like the weather, never can tell what your woman's bound to do. A woman is just like the weather, never can tell what she's bound to do. Sometimes she's liable to cloud up and rain on you when you least expect your woman to. so bad. Oh, I hurt my feet to walk. And you know it's been rambling around my brain. Oh, I hurt my tongue to talk. Thank you very much. So hopefully you can hear the piano in there. It was a big deal for the guitar players, you know. Again, when you think about that little tiny guitar, guitars were just starting to come into their own, but the rage was piano. That's really what everybody wanted to play. As a matter of fact, in 1898, the first song to sell 1 million copies of sheet music came out. And anybody know who that was? How about Mr. Scott Joplin? There was Scott Joplin, John Scott, and Joseph Lamb. They were the three composers. You know, ragtime started in 1885, and it was somewhat crude at the beginning. And it wasn't until those three guys came on the scene, specifically Scott Joplin, that things really got serious. Maple Leaf Rag was the first tune to sell 1 million copies. It's 5 chapters long. It's like 5 songs put together. It's as sophisticated as any piece of classical music out there. And every form of music today is related to ragtime, you know, with that syncopation. Since the end of the Romantic period, when we got away from that two-step, you know, that march type feel, everything kind of followed suit with ragtime. So I'm going to take a crack at playing Maple Leaf Rag for you. It was written for the piano, so we'll see what happens here. But this is Scott Joplin's Maple Leaf Rag. Thank you very much. That was the stuff that started it all. And of course the blues followed that. I used to get that confused. I used to think that the blues was first because ragtime seems so sophisticated to be first, you know? And as we've gone down this trail here, one of the kind of premises of all of this is that a lot of this stuff hasn't been around too long. You know, the guitar has, but as far as the playing styles, for instance, you know what Chicago type blues is, right? That's, again, with the flat pick or the plectrum like we talked about. Chicago is with the guitar, the bass guitar, and the drums, the electric urban style blues. Played you a couple of those tonight, as opposed to the finger picking blues, right? You know when the first time the Europeans heard Chicago style blues was? Muddy Waters' 1958 tour of Europe. You know, when if you didn't know that to start with, you'd think, man, oh man, that's got to be ages ago. It really wasn't. You know, all of this stuff, we have, you know, the people in this audience, myself included, we have really seen a lot of things happen with music. I think it's been kind of stuck in the mud a little bit, but the changes from 1900 to now are just amazing. So speaking of Muddy Waters, here's one of his tunes that you might be familiar with. It's called Hoochie Coochie Man. Gypsy woman told my mother before I was born, said, you got a boy child coming on, I'm gonna be a son of a gun. Said, gonna make pretty women run, jump and shout, and the world gonna know what it's all about. Hoochie Coochie Man, baby. Everybody knows I'm here. I got a black cat bone, I got a mojo too, I got little Johnny Conqueror. I'm gonna mess with you, I'm gonna make you little girls lead me by my hand, and the world gonna know I'm your Hoochie Coochie Man. Hey, everybody knows I'm your Hoochie Coochie Man, baby. on the 7th month. 7 doctors say, said you were born for good luck, and that you will see. I got $1.5 million. Don't you mess with me. Hey, everybody knows. Could you buy a cupcake? Thank you so much. Thank you, folks. And of course, we all know what came out of the blues. Rock and roll, right? I played a song earlier called Freight Train Boogie. It's kind of a hillbilly type boogie. Well, they asked Willie Dixon the first time he heard that. He said there was a guy named Joe Dudlow who was a piano player who played that boogie woogie figure, this. And they used to call it playing the Dudlow Joes. And that was around 1949. At the same time, the hillbillies were playing that music. Guys like Alton and Rayburn Delmore, who are kind of mentors for the old bluegrass guys, you know. As a matter of fact, Freight Train Boogie, that tune that I played earlier, a lot of historians would tell you that's the first rock and roll record because it had that. But there were a couple guys in the early rock days that played that, and one of them was Chuck Berry. Here's one of his tunes with a boogie woogie backbeat. Maybelline, oh, can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, well, can't you be true? You done stole back doing the things you used to do. Well, you died for motivating over the hill. It's on Maybelline and a Coupe de Ville. Cadillac rolling on an open road. Nothing outrun my V8 Ford. Cadillac doing about 95, running bumper to bumper, side by side. Maybelline, well, can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, well, can't you be true? You done started back doing the things you used to do. Well, peeked in the mirror at the top of the hill, with jet lights water in a medicine pill. The next thing is always that Cadillac grill, doing 110, dropping over that hill. Uphill, curving down, hill stretch, beating that Cadillac neck and neck. Maybelline, well, can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, well, can't you be true? You done started back doing the things you used to do. I got a jaw like a bear trap, teeth like a razor, a Maytag tongue with a sensitive taste. I was born in Texas, the land of beef, showing like a green, showing the hair like a meat. I'm a meat man. Go to see me, man. Well, they call me the meat man. Go to see me, man. Now I'm down to Macon, Georgia. I ate the bones off of Georgia Peach. Plugged your chicken down to Memphis, baby. I still got feathers in my teeth. Huckabee, Alabama, from the flying Alabama home. Went to Dallas, Texas, got a little bit of love. Had a ball to Louisiana, dog, but they call me the meat man. Go to see me, man. Oh, they call me the meat man. Go to see me, man. That's when I heard that highway sound. Cadillac looking like a torn on lead, a horn to tell half a mile ahead. Cadillac looking like it's hidden steel. Call Maybelline at the top of the hill. Maybelline, well, can't you be true? Proud Maybelline, well, can't you be true? You know I started back doing the things you used to do. I started back doing the things you used to do. You done started back doing the things you used to do. Thank you so much. Okay. Thanks so much for coming, folks. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. This is a resophonic guitar. This is a metal body guitar. And you know that little guitar that I showed you? There were two guys that came from Czechoslovakia that wanted to solve the problem of that little guitar being, you know, so having such a tiny sound to it and not being able to perform on the vaudeville stages. And they were making banjos and drums. And they came up with a way to make this resonator inside this guitar so it's really loud when it's not plugged in. Those were the Dopera brothers, and the name of the company was the Dobro Company. And the blues guys loved them because they have this real clangy sound to them. And you play it with sometimes with a slide on your finger. So here's one called the Hesitation Blues. Hesitating news, everybody I know got the hesitating blues. Tell me, how long do I have to wait? Can I get you now? Must I hesitate? I said a nickel's worth a penny, dollar mighty hard. I could live for the chickens in the rich folks' yard. Tell me, how long do I have to wait? You now, must I hesitate? Well, people around here know what it's all about. If you want it, you can get it. If you get it, won't regret it, man, it's gonna make you jump and shout. Hesitate, shuffle, hesitate news. Everybody I know got the hesitate blues. Tell me, how long do I have to wait? You now, write me a few more lines. Good consolation to my worried mind. Standing at the back door crying. Left my baby standing at the back door crying. Never felt so lonesome till she said goodbye. Standing at the back door crying. Left my baby standing at the back door crying. Never felt so lonesome till she said goodbye. When you get home, little baby, please write me a few more lines. When you get home, little baby, please write me a few more lines. Good consolation to my worried mind. Thank you so much for listening, folks. I appreciate it. See you around.